And joining us now with more on the recovery efforts in the Lone Star State is Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for being with us tonight for this very important story. So please tell our viewers where you think that things stand right now tonight in terms of the rescue and the recovery efforts.
Well, the storm has shifted, as you know. It started in Rockport and near Corpus, and it's moved across the state about 300 miles. So now that's why you have the most current and most important rescue going on in Beaumont, as you just reported. That's where the water is the heaviest, but the rescue continues in Houston. It was a wind-damaged storm in the west, and it's become a flooding storm. We have about 35,000 people in shelters. We think about 1 out of every 10 people that leave their home are in shelters. That means 300,000 or 400,000 people have been displaced. They're with friends or family or somewhere else. Some got hotel space. And then we have 14,000 guard troops deployed, so we have security and rescue efforts going on. And we have about 500 roads that are still closed. But I want to thank President Trump, who has been on this before the storm hit. We've gotten just tremendous cooperation and service from FEMA and the President. Governor Abbott is doing a great job in command. And I'll tell you what, Kimberly, we are Texas tough. And as the word from literature once said, the worst of times and the best of times. This is the worst of times for many, but the best of times by seeing the quality of the American volunteer coming from other states and the quality of the volunteerism of Texans. You saw that first responder swimming next to that horse. His life in danger to save a horse. All these volunteers. We've had our own Dunkirk flotilla come in to save thousands and thousands of people. We'll never get the official count. I bet 10,000 to 15,000 people have been rescued, many by volunteers and our brave first responders.
What else do you need tonight in your state in terms of viewers watching at home? What is the best way for them to direct their efforts to provide assistance or help for those in need?
First of all, give to either redcross.org or Samaritan's Purse, to charities that we know are here on the ground, and there are many others, but those are two. We need a lot of money. Kimberly, many of these people didn't have flood insurance. They've lost everything. The only thing they have is the backpack on their back. Their kids don't have any clothes for schools. The kids have lost their toys. The parents have lost their cars. They've lost their furniture. But they have their lives. What is remarkable, Kimberly, the biggest disaster probably in the history of America, natural disaster, and every life is precious. But right now, we think somewhere around 36 people have lost their lives. That's a miracle. That is a miracle. But we need prayers. We need the financial help. But remember this, Kimberly, right now, in a time when much of America was divided, they're all focused and helping Texas. And in Texas, there are no Republicans tonight and no Democrats and no black, white, and brown or moderates or conservatives. We are one Texas helping each other. Texas tough, will survive, will prevail, and we will lead to show others how to take on these types of disasters as we learn from this, as we've learned from disasters in the past.
You know, certainly Texas really, truly a shining example to the rest of the country of what we can do when we come together, like you said. And President Trump, when he was there, echoing those same, comments and sentiments that you're sharing with our viewers tonight in terms of coming together. There are those that criticize and question the president's actions, saying that he didn't show empathy enough or that he should have gone down to hug victims of the ravaged storm area. But that also presents somewhat of a logistical problem when you have someone coming in like a president and shutting down areas where relief is still so sorely needed.
Well, I saw the president on Tuesday and had a chance to visit with him, with the governor and with our two senators, Cornyn and Cruz, and I can tell you this, we all think he played it pitch perfect. He didn't get in the way of first responders. He didn't take away from the effort. He came into Corpus where things had settled a little bit. They still have issues there, but he inspired the people. He came here to say, I'm leading on this issue. What I like about the president, he's a business guy. And this is, he looks at this and says, we have a problem. What do we need to get back in business? What do we need to get Texas up and running and fix it? And he has been all in from the declaration that came so quick, as he said, about 35 seconds before the storm really hit. He and Governor Abbott have worked close together. And I'm proud of our president. I'm proud of what they're doing. But make no mistake, as Brock Long from FEMA, who's doing a great job for us here, we know this is going to be a long recovery. We still have problems, as the report showed. It will be weeks before many people get in their home, months before others, and a year or more before everything is back to the new normal. But I'm grateful for everyone, our local officials, our county judges, our mayors. you can't imagine, Kimberly, every day we have a briefing at 8 a.m. You can't imagine the long list that we have to go down, just like Beaumont. Now,
Sure.
you know, we're going to have to supply water for every citizen. That's bottled water that has to be trucked in. I was in Victoria yesterday, I think it was, and the days are all one. And as of yesterday, we were shipping in bottles of water for 80,000 people. That's a massive effort to get in.
Huge undertaking,
and it's a tremendous operation. We've been through it before, nothing like this. But again, it was the worst of times and the best of times. And I'm so proud to be a Texan, and I'm so proud of all Americans outside of Texas who decided they want to be a Texan. You know, I always tell people when I give a speech, no one moves to Texas, Kimberly. They arrive here and Texas moves into them.
Oh, amazing. And they want to stay. Fantastic.
And they want to stay. And they do, by the way.
Absolutely. And just imagine that, just, you know, when I think about it, a luxury, water, what we take for granted, you know, every day, just so that you can have clean drinking water for those that are sick, the elderly, infirm, anybody, to just be able to have that, to be able to survive, and also water continuing to rise in some areas.
Yes.
So this is far from over, but as you say, Texas is strong, and I understand the President is coming back to see you.
I understand he's coming in Saturday. I believe he's coming into Houston. And by the way, our prayers go out to our friends in Louisiana and other states that are experiencing heavy rain now. It's moving up through Tennessee and other areas. You know, Kimberly, it is a difficult time for so many, and people have to go to their new normal of, you know, if they were displaced, where do their kids go to school? Right. How do they get their benefits? If they're senior citizens, their Social Security check, all of those things, you know, you have to get back running at life, but we'll do that. You know, you can buy new stuff, and you can repair sheetrock and get new carpet, but you can't replace your life. And people, I think, are so grateful just to be alive, to be saved, and to be alive. I was out with one of those rescue trucks in a neighborhood with high water the other day, and no one knew I was on the truck. I'm just helping the volunteers who were volunteers. They had this old Army truck, and a lady came up to me in a neighborhood, Kimberly, that was pretty desolate. It was like a ghost town, and we were looking for people who wanted to get out, and she came up, and she happened to recognize me. It was my old Senate district where I used to be a senator, and she said, "If I'd known you were coming, I'd have made you dinner, Mr. Lieutenant Governor."
Very sweet.
And I thought, what a great spirit she had. And I said, "Don't you want to get on the truck?" She said, "No, I rescue cats. I've got 45 cats. I don't want my cats to drown. I'm okay. I'll be okay." And she said, "I'm going to do the backstroke back to my house." And that's the kind of spirit everywhere you see.
So many
people
inspirational
are grateful.
stories, you know. It's really true. All right,
and Kimberly, thank you and Fox for everything you all have been doing. You've been putting focus on this, and we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
Certainly, and our job to do that and bring it to the viewers at home. All right, Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for sharing these stories and giving us some insight tonight.